Greetings, YouTube. One of the many reasons why I love getting to do what I do. I don't call this a job. I don't even call this a hobby. I just call it a lifestyle, is that you never know what you're going to talk about when the day starts. There could be crystal opening commentary submissions I wake up to in my email inbox or Line or Twitter. There could be breaking news about new champions in the game. There could be unfortunate new bugs that are causing havoc, or things that I refuse to do YouTube videos on that are pro player bugs that, of course, as soon as Kabam gets wind of them, they'll do an emergency maintenance and shut the game down to patch them. Definitely not the case when Nick Fury's been broken for a year, but I digress. But I could never have guessed that today, this Friday, would have been one of the few days a year that Kabam has put out the A+ level, and I really do believe that Mastery Booster Pack, basically for $20. It's like buying one carb Mastery Core, getting 2 carbs thrown in, plus 4 free Stonies, and the gold. That's how good of a deal today's Mastery setup is. And so my job today, because I didn't think I was going to record, I haven't recorded a single Mastery setup video all year. In fact, it's kind of annoying because people are like, Prof, can you send me your Masteries? And I used to be like, yeah, I just watched that video I posted. And they're like, from 2020? And I'm like, well, my Mastery setup really hasn't changed since then, but I guess every once in a while I should make a new one. Well, today's the day. Because this is not my favorite Mastery setup kind of video, which hasn't really changed in a year. This is what are the most important Masteries and really the best Masteries to put those new cores that you buy from the Mastery Booster Pack into. That is what I hope to help based off of my experience. Now, certain things about this game I feel like are subjective and certain things are not. I'm going to start with proficiencies for the sake of this video because I truly think most players would be in agreement, from the biggest of end games to the beginners, that if there are 2 masteries that you want to unlock immediately when you start a new account, it is parry and it is dexterity. Now, you will notice, and this is definitely a subject of disagreement and debate in the community, I have chosen to do something a little controversial in that I only have 1 point in parry. I know a lot of summoners, especially when you talk about fighting Alliance Quest bosses, war fights, certainly in-game content like Act 7, the new variants, the Abyss, etc., Karina's challenges. They're going to say it's suicide, but not suicide masteries, to only have 1 point in parry because you want to get the perfect block chance up. You want to decrease that block damage. I have tested this for a year. And I have defeated many final Alliance Quest Apocalypse boss and long, high PI fights with just 1 point in parry. That's what I've chosen to do. Now, there are a couple of reasons why I've done that. And I also want to say that I truly think if there's one mastery you should max out proficiencies, it's Stupefy with the Mastery Cores, because you want those parries to last as long as possible. And if you're going through incursions and you have the hack that doubles the stun time, boy, when you have Stupefy maxed and that ends, and Incursions is actually working right, the way it's supposed to, the way it's intended to, as Kabam likes to say, it leads to some great combos and really fun. It kind of reminds me of Domino with the Masacre synergy, where you just get a super long stun duration on a parry. But I digress. If it's me, and I haven't done this already, you're watching this and you're thinking, all right, Prof, I'm listening to you, what should I put these in? Start with proficiencies. 1 point in parry, 1 point in dex. I would imagine that your setup already has that. And if you haven't already maxed out Stupefy. Let's say you've done that, though. You're like, all right, check, check, and check. What else? Well, this mastery saved me so much in Act 6 and Act 7. And I haven't jumped into 7-2. I'm thinking maybe this weekend I'll get a chance to. Happy Friday again. Unless you come across this video, randomly not on a Friday. Happy whatever day you chose to click on this video. Thank you for doing that. Willpower is something I truly believe in now. And the reason why I have chosen to take parry down to 1 point is because I also believe in coagulate. Big time. So many champions are not bleed immune, even if they're poison immune, like say Red Hulk. And so you want to take less damage from bleed as you can. This was especially important when I used to run Blade every day, though I've kind of cycled away from that lately. Coagulate is going to make it to where when you run full suicides, your champions bleed less, therefore you take less health damage at the beginning of the fight. This is also kind of negated when you're able to do what I also love to do. Shout out to my man Triumphant for encouraging me to do this in the past year, and that is bring in the Nick Fury and Deadpool X-Force Synergy, and I throw a Quake in there too, for the Restoration Kit, which takes that bleed and turns it into a awesome heal opportunity at the beginning of the fight for, 10% health. So, I might have parry down to 1, but I justify parry going down to 1 because in order to make willpower happen, you got to put, 15 points into mastery defense? I hate that that's a rule, but it is what it is. It's Kabam's sandbox. We're just playing in it. And so my block proficiency is maxed out. I don't think, I might be wrong, but I don't think that requires many cores. It's a kind of a forgotten mastery. But with 1 point in parry and 800 now top points 4 out of 4, and a total of, like I said, block proficiency increase of 800, it really does work out well. And then on this mastery setup, if you haven't done it, right at the top of the list, you want to max out salve and you want to max out recovery. Now, that is controversial because I know plenty of people who say, whoa, prof, salve is not worth it. Salve, you don't really notice the increase in 4 health twice per second. Personally, for me, as somebody who runs full suicides, and this really is a video geared toward making people think about that, maybe for the first time on their roster, that health does matter to me. It matters to me that when you don't lose, and for some champions you don't lose health every second because of this, and in some champions you gain a little bit of health back with the Suicide Mastery setup. I just don't like losing health when I'm just walking around a fight. Personal preference. I know a lot of people who will say just put 1 point into salve and save those 2 mastery points. And maybe those same people would say take those 2 mastery points out of salve, put it in parry. I'm sure some people are nodding their head right now. This is just a personal preference. Every YouTube video, for the sake of argument, is somewhat subjective. It's one man's opinion. I try to remind you of that while still giving you mine. But the main purpose of this video today is the offensive mastery tree. You can see that I've got 32 points in it compared to 21 and 6 in the other 2 areas of the game. Another thing that's a bit controversial, I took a point out of precision, which a lot of people have maxed and always have. Didn't notice the difference at all and loved that I freed up that mastery point. I took 2 points from parry, 1 point from precision to max out coagulate. That's where I got those 3 points. And then glass cannon. If you have not maxed this out, if you're not ready to commit to suicide masteries, I get it, but max this thing out. When you parry, when you dex, you're not concerned about being hit because your goal is to never be hit in a fight. You won't really notice the decrease in maximum health of 7.2%, but my goodness, will you notice a increase in your champion's 7.2% base attack, not just for the attack, but also for the PI jump boost they get from maxing out Glass Cannon in the arena or other parts of the game. And yes, Liquid Courage and Double Edge are maxed. It takes a crazy amount of cores. You won't be able to get close to that with just the Mastery Booster Pack today, but it'll be a nice way to get your champions started. If you run Corvus and you want to do like a half Suicide Mastery, it is so smart to run Double Edge. Same thing, of course, for Omega Red and that Death Field. And then also you want to max out Cruelty. That is in the top 10 most important mastery points to max out. I love Deep Wounds. I used to have it at 5 out of 5. I took it down to 4 out of 5 to free up that point. Still really value it. So many of my favorite champions, including Mr. Wolverine, especially with the Apocalypse Synergy now. Haven't recorded a video talking about mastery setup since I got Wolverine and Apocalypse, so it has been a while. And then my Battle Realm bestie, Katie Candy, helped inspire me to just put 2 points into Assassin because she says it has diminishing returns and isn't justifiable. And I used to max it out, so I wasted a lot of cores doing more than 2 out of 5. And I really think, some people argue, well, what about the boss fights? Well, I haven't really ever noticed a big loss in having 2 out of 5 instead of 5 out of 5. So my goal is to keep this under 10 minutes. I'm looking to my left and I'm seeing we're at over 9 minutes, so I'm going to end this video here. I hope that this video helps some people decide where to put their new cores in. It really is a pro player, one of the best deals of the year, Mastery Booster Pack, because it's guaranteed value, and once you unlock those masteries, they'll always be unlocked. Even if you reset them, it'll just take a couple of units to get that specific mastery back to where it was, and that is a huge win for your roster that doesn't depend on the Orange Judas Marvel Casino of Champions algorithm.